Hi everyone, welcome to today's training session. My name is Roshni and I'm part of the customer team here at SuiteFiles. So thanks for joining us today. We will be going through SuiteFiles integration with Zero Practice Manager or XPM. And a really important part of our integration is through our Chrome extension, and this provides most of the functionality that we'll be looking at today. So just some general info before we get started. If you have any questions, then you can make use of the Q&A section, which you can see in the webinar tool panel. And I'll be keeping an eye on those questions throughout today's session. I'm also recording, so we'll be making that recording available later on in the week. So we've got other ways that we can help with your training if you're not familiar with them already. We do have our SuiteFiles Help Center. So if you are in SuiteFiles, you can click on this Help Center link and that will open up suitehelp.suitefiles.com. You can use the search or navigate through any of the sections that we have here. In particular, you'll be looking at the Zero integration, particularly the Zero Practice Manager articles that we have here. And if you do have any questions that you can't find the answers to there, then we're always available to help. Our support team is contactable at support@suitefiles.com, so keep that address handy too. So the very first thing that we need to do is install the SuiteFiles Chrome extension. And because the Chrome extension offers all of the functionality that we'll be covering today, it's really important that you have this installed first and foremost. It does also mean that you will need to be using the Google Chrome browser for starters. So first of all, once you're logged into your SuiteFiles site, just navigate through to the top right corner. Click on your username and then select the Download Apps option. And the Chrome extension is what we'll be covering today. So this is the one that you need to have installed. Click Download. And then it will open up the Chrome Web Store. So next thing to do is click the Add to Chrome button. When it asks you if you'd like to add SuiteFiles, click on Add Extension. And then once the installation has completed, you'll find the SuiteFiles Chrome extension icon in the top right corner of your screen. So we then need to log in. I'll just clear this all off. So the next thing to do is to log in. Before you do log in though, one of the first things that it's going to ask for is your site URL. So if you're in SuiteFiles anyway, then it can be quite handy just to copy your site URL here, just up until the .com part. Click on the Chrome extension icon, paste your site URL into the first field, and then you want to log in with your Office 365 username and your Office 365 password. So I'll go ahead and do that now. And my Office 365 password. And do note that if you do use multi-factor authentication, then you'll need to select the advanced login link as seen at the bottom of the screen. I don't have multi-factor authentication for my Office 365 account, so I'm just going to go ahead and click the login button. But if you are one of those that has MFA, then do make sure that you're aware of this link. So that will just go through the authenticating and logging in process. It's important just to stay on this screen while it's doing its thing. Don't navigate away from this tab, just so that everything connects correctly. Sorry about that. Let's just double check that I entered everything in okay. It probably will be, of course, the second time this week that I've entered in my details completely incorrectly. So let's just try that again. Perfect. Okay, so again, I don't know how I can continue to do this. I might need to change my password, but it is important to have a strong password, just so that you know. Mine's perhaps a bit too strong and keeps outsmarting me. So, but once you are successfully logged in, then you'll see this screen. So it'll tell you the username or email address that you're logged in with and the site that you're logged into. So you can simply click away from that now, and you can, so long as you can see the Chrome extension icon here for SuiteFiles, then this will allow you to start to use the core functionality that that we offer through the Xero Practice Manager interface. So that's where we'll see a lot of the functionality come through. There's a few other little helpful functions that the Chrome extension offers. We'll go through those a little bit later on in the session. So on my other tab here, I'm logged into Xero Practice Manager. And first I'm going to take you through the process of creating a new client in XPM, one that doesn't exist in my SuiteFiles site currently. So if I navigate through to the Clients tab, we're going to see the type of prompts that the Chrome extension offers, and how it makes things really easy to set up and manage your client files between both XPM and SuiteFiles. So I'm just going to click on New Client. I'm just going to create a new client name. Say LED Accounting. And then I'm going to click Save. Okay, and upon saving, this is when the Chrome extension kicks into action. So this message here is asking if you'd like to save an LED Accounting client folder in SuiteFiles as well. So at this point I can simply click Create, but if I've got folder templates created as well, and if you were at our training session on Monday, you'll have learned how to create a set of folder templates. It makes creating new client folders really easy. So you might say have a company folders template that you use each time you create a new client. So go ahead and click that, and then simply click Create. So this is going to nest or file this folder for LED Accounting under your client's folder structure in SuiteFiles. So I do also get a pop-up. It did happen on my other screen. Sorry, I can't bring that one across, but the Chrome extension does give you a little notification saying, hey, you've created that. And you can also see the confirmation here that the client's folder now contains a subfolder called LED Accounting. So if we click on that, it will take you through to that client folder in SuiteFiles. So here it is here, and you can also see those subfolders that I created as well, just using my company template folder. So that's nice and easy. It's all set up and ready to go. What we can also do is we can rename the folder as well. So let's say, using the same example, if we do want to edit the client, we can come in and if it's, say, LED Accounting Limited, save that change. Then again, XPM is going to also prompt you and ask you if you would like to change or rename the current folder of LED Accounting to the new LED Accounting Limited. So I'll click on yes, and if we see here, it's now changed with that Chrome extension link. And if we navigate through to our clients folder, I'm just going to use our filter here, typing in LED and then enter on my keyboard. You can see here that it's changed to LED Accounting Limited. The same is true with your archiving and unarchiving actions in XPM. So here you have the archive option. It will again prompt you, and the prompting in XPM will then mean that the folder is then archived in SuiteFiles. So if you are tidying things up in XPM, it's a really handy way of keeping things nice and tidy in SuiteFiles as well. So depending on your settings, if you have got your SuiteFile settings to not show archived content, then any search or filtering in the clients list for LED will no longer be seen. If you recall, in your profile settings, you can opt to show archived content. I just keep it set to no, just to keep things nice and tidy. You can also type, you should be able to type in LED and perform an advanced search if you do want to locate any archived folders. So that's just a reminder, perhaps if you weren't at our training session on Monday. Again, you can simply restore the folder from XPM, and that's going to bring it back to life in SuiteFiles as well. So one thing to note is that if you're using groups in XPM, you do need to enable this in your Chrome extension settings. So groups are sitting in the bottom right corner of XPM. You can see that field there, and if I want to then enable the ability to use groups and have those recognized by SuiteFiles if I'm making changes or creating or adding clients to groups, then I can enable this by clicking on the SuiteFiles, or right-clicking rather, on the SuiteFiles Chrome extension icon, and then go into Options, and here we have a beta testing feature. This has the ability to prompt you to create group subfolders in SuiteFiles. So simply close that setting. Just going to refresh everything just to make sure that those changes stick. And then what we can do is, if we want to add a group to, or add LED Accounting rather, to one of our groups in XPM, can click Add to Group, and I'm just going to add them to the Home Trust group. And select Add, and then you're going to see this prompt. So one thing to note about the structure is that the structure is going to now be the clients folder, which is that main or that top level clients folder in in SuiteFiles. Then it's going to be followed by the group name. So the new structure is going to be the client folder, and then Home Trust Group, which is our group name, and then LED Accounting Limited is going to be nested or filed within the Home Trust Group folder. So if the Home Trust Group folder does not yet exist in SuiteFiles, then this whole process is going to also create that subfolder for you. So here you can see that the new structure has taken effect, and back in SuiteFiles, if we now filter for LED accounting, remember we've unarchived it as well as moved it to the Home Trust Group subfolder, so I can no longer see it immediately within the client's subfolder. However, if we do filter for the Home Trust Group, click on that folder, and now we just scroll down, there's not too many, we can see that the LED Accounting Limited folder, the client folder, has now been nested within the Home Trust Group folder. And that works the other way around as well. So if you were to remove the client from the group, then it's going to just revert it back to the clients/LED Accounting Limited structure as we had before. So that's pretty much it for client linking. But there's just a few things to note. So sometimes you might have to create a client name in Xero Practice Manager here, including an ampersand character, so the and symbol. However, you've got to note that the ampersand is actually a restricted character in SuiteFiles, sort of a limitation due to Office 365 and Microsoft. So when you do create a new client in XPM and it includes an ampersand, we'll replace it, or the Chrome extension rather, that functionality is going to replace it with the word and in SuiteFiles. So we have an example in XPM already, so I'll just show you an example of that. We've got a client in XPM called Jack and Jill. So that is how the client name has to be, and that's why we've got it loaded in there as Jack and with the ampersand symbol, Jill. However, because it's not accepted, we've had to do a substitution of the word and. So long as you've used the Chrome extension to create this Jack and Jill client in XPM, then the Chrome extension is going to take care of that substitution for you. So if we have a look in clients and look for Jack, Jack, you can see here that it's Jack and Jill. So they're linked together. If you do find that for whatever reason you're not seeing a link here and you're expecting to, it's typically due to things like an ampersand substitution not implemented correctly, or you might have a double spacing. Just check to make sure that the client name in both XPM and in SuiteFiles is an exact match, and then you should find that this link appears automatically. Some other reasons that the link may not be shown here for you, I think I might have an example of what it might look like. Let's have a look. That one has it. I'm not sure if we've got an example right now, but sometimes, this one does have an example. There you go. So if you see the message no client with this name is in SuiteFiles, then you can create it in SuiteFiles. If you're adamant that there is actually a client a folder called 42 above limited in your SuiteFiles and it's just not coming through to XPM, then it could be that your Chrome extension has been logged out. So just make sure that you can just right click here and you should be able to see whether or not it's logged in or not. So that's just a little bit of troubleshooting. It tends to come up from time to time, so we thought we'd let you know in advance just in case you have any questions about that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take a look at quote and job creation and how the Chrome extension prompts you to create a folder for it in SuiteFiles too. So if we go back to our client that we created earlier, we have a look at LED accounting. And just note that when you create either a new job or a new quote, the functionality is actually exactly the same for each. So we'll just take you through the example of creating a new job, and just note that creating a quote is done in exactly the same way. So here we are under new and new job. And I'm going to give the job a name. So we'll just call it Suite Job. I think that's all I need to fill in for this one. And then you click Save. I think you'll complete a few more fields than I would, but that just shows you that when you do click Save, SuiteFiles is going to automatically prompt you and ask whether or not you'd like to save a job. So it's got the job number and the job name, and it's going to ask whether or not you'd like to file this within the LED Accounting Limited folder /jobs. So what this means is that it's detected that you've created a job, it's linked it to the appropriate client, and if you don't already have a jobs subfolder created in SuiteFiles, this whole process is going to create that for you. You can even use folder templates if you do have specific subfolder structures that you would like to use whenever you're creating jobs or quotes. So if you simply click Create, then you can see the link to the job is shown as a link here. So you can click on that link, or if I take a look at the LED accounting folder here, you can see the new jobs subfolder has been created and a folder for the job ready for me to place any files that I may have for that job right in SuiteFiles. So that's it for the job creation. As I said, quotes are created in exactly the same way. So just follow that same process as I've shown you for jobs here today, and you'll see that same functionality in action with your quotes. So you can also export and print things like work papers and reports into your SuiteFiles site. So again, this is a functionality that's offered by that Chrome extension that you see in the top right corner of your screen. So it's important that you have this installed for these functions to work as well. So we're first going to have a look at work papers. So if I just jump into my work papers site. Oh, got to do my login. Just bear with me. Time for a quick drink break as well. I encourage you to take one too. Okay, so we're all logged into work papers now. Now, what we can do here is we can navigate to one of our organizations. So if I jump into 99 Corporation, and then you should see an Export Work Papers drop-down, and the two functions that are offered by the Chrome extension are the Export PDF to SuiteFiles or Export Zip to SuiteFiles. So the first option there for exporting a PDF to SuiteFiles, that's going to export everything into one PDF, while the zip option exports all the individual work papers as individual files. So if we click on the first option here, this is going to bring up a location chooser. And so what we can do is we can navigate through our files and SuiteFiles. 99 Corporation is the client that I've got work papers to export. I can just navigate to the folder that I want to save it into, and then simply click Select Folder. So it's just going to take a few seconds, and once that's done its processing thing, if we go back into SuiteFiles and go to the 99 Corporation folder, I'd saved my work paper export in the 2018 folder. We should see that here. So you can also navigate or just order sort your files by date last modified. So here you can see that today I've exported my work papers, the 99 Corporation, for the financial year of 2015. So I'm a few years too late, but here we go. And the other option is, as I said, the exporting zip. So again, just use the navigation, the location chooser to pick where you would like to file. Select the folder, and again you can see it doing its thinking in the bottom right corner there. And once that's finished processing, you can jump back into SuiteFiles and you should see that all of those individual folders, if we just jump back out and jump back into that one, we can see that I've got a zip folder here. You can see that at the top of the list where I'll be able to find all of the individual PDF files there ready for me to use. So in terms of those options, you've got those two options there. It really comes down to personal preference. So we recommend that you just try it out both ways and see what works best for you if you're going to be exporting work papers out of XPM into SuiteFiles. So another couple of things to go through in today's session. We're going to take a look at how you can export reports. So this is back in the Practice Manager. Now, if we go into reports, all reports, I'm just going to jump into this job report here and print this. So once we've printed the job report or any report from the Practice Manager, you'll see here that we also have an Export PDF to SuiteFiles button. So click on that and you can navigate through your folders. I'll just pop it into LED again and select that folder, and that is going to be stored in that folder in SuiteFiles. So this is the job report that I've just exported, and if you can't see the Export PDF to SuiteFiles button, so just there's going to be places where you don't have an option to export the PDF to SuiteFiles. So some examples of that is in the tax returns, or some of the Blue Zero reports won't have this button here. We do actually have another way to export these into SuiteFiles, which you can actually use for anything that you can print. So I'll just bring up an example. So let's just export this job report to just a standard PDF and open that up in my browser. So let's just say you've got this this report that you've exported from XPM, but it's got no link to SuiteFiles yet. It's not stored there because we don't have that button. So what you can do is click on the print icon, and we actually have an option called Suite Print. So we've set this up as a destination. So if you under destination click on change and then select Suite Print, you'll see that it's got the SuiteFiles Chrome extension sitting there, just to remind you that that's going to link your files into SuiteFiles. Select that option and then you need to click on Print. And this is going to bring up again that location chooser and where you can navigate through your client folders. I'm just going to filter that again. LED accounting 2018, but this time you will need to give the file a name. So job report SEP 2018. Click on Save File. And that's going to save the PDF to the location that we chose in our SuiteFiles site. So if we just click back out and click back in, here we go. We've got our job report for September that I just used the Suite Print option to get that into my SuiteFiles site. So this is a really handy function. You don't necessarily have to be in XPM. It's just another way that you can save files wherever you've got that the ability to print and use the Suite Print option. So thought we cover that off. It's a really, really handy time-saving feature. So yeah, that actually brings us to the end of today's training session. If you did have any questions, then I'll leave the webinar open for another few minutes. Feel free to ask them through the Q&A section now. Otherwise, you're welcome to get in touch with our support team at support@suitefiles.com. We have that help centre there that I showed you that has a number of articles which cover what we went through in today's session, as well as a lot more helpful information, so do check it out. All right, well, thanks again, everyone, and I hope you learned a little something from today's session and hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.